crafty babes, it's Andrea. I'm so excited to share with you a little watch me work as I go through a prompt in my April Listers Gotta List book. I really love this little tiny book. It's so small and cute and fun. And what I'm doing here actually is gluing 2 pages together for a few pages. I counted the pages in the booklet, and I'm not going to exceed the number of pages that it had. I was actually only going to get to about 50% of the pages. And I realized that when I write on the pages, they're a little bit too thin. So I decided to just glue them together back to back. And that way I can have a little bit of a thicker surface to work on. And then I'm not bleeding through to the next page. So I've decided to work on the My Strengths prompt. And I found a little photo of myself, and we're going to try to see what kind of cards and embellishments I can use from the Girl Friday collection from the Reset Girl. And I just want to use all of the things, but I have this little tiny mini book, and so I have to be very selective, but I'm working on it. So I'm picking some green things because I've got the green in the grass there. And then I decide that maybe I don't want to use that photo, and I go kind of look for another photo. So we'll see. We'll see how this all shakes out. And then I really wanted to use the label with the My Strengths thing on it, but then I really just wanted the little part that said the My Strengths, the little Dymo label piece. And so I'm going to use the other parts of the label in other places. I'm also going to do a grid like collage layout, which I've been so obsessed with. You've probably seen my grid layouts before. It's kind of my go-to when I just want to use a bunch of supplies. So that's kind of the deal right now. And I wanted to try to do it in a smaller, teeny tiny format like this. So at this point now, I'm picking green and blue. I'm just not gonna go with that other picture of me in the coral sweater. We're going with this, I think we're going with this black and white Instax photo. But I'm basically just looking for anything small that I can use, you know, that has some significance to the topic. And I'm not just picking things for, you know, willy-nilly reasons. I mean, sometimes I do. Sometimes there's not really a reason for why I pick what I pick. I just kind of make it work. But I am actually trying to be a little aware of what stuff I'm choosing. So here we are, just kind of trimming things. There's a couple of things in the printables that I couldn't get to cut properly on my silhouette. So they are what they are, and I've just fussy cut a little bit of the edges off of some things. So do you like puzzles? Because I feel like that's exactly what these grid layouts are all about. It's like trying to fit the things that you want into places that they fit, adjusting if they don't fit, you know, choosing something else if they don't fit, really trying to spread the color around evenly. It sometimes feels like it's just haphazard. Haphazard? Is it hap or half? Like H-A-P-H? I think it's hap. Haphazard? I don't know. Willy-nilly. I like that a lot better. I don't just willy-nilly stuff. There is really a lot of thought, as you can tell by like how much movement there is in these kinds of processes. So I feel like at this point things do fit. Things make sense. I've included the things that I want to include. I'm starting to kind of figure out just the permanent places for things. So we are at the gluing stage. I realize we're like 5 minutes into this video, but this took me a long time. This is probably 20 minutes in because I've got you on fast fast speed here, because it sometimes is not pretty watching me just like tap my fingers on the desk to the music that I'm listening to and trying to think through these things. But one thing I really love to do, like, is what I just did there, is to overlap the florals that I print on clear sticker paper. I love to put them over like labels or other little die cuts. Oh, it's just my favorite. Just my favorite. So I accidentally put the foam tape on the bottom of that Instax photo and didn't leave enough room for me to slide that notebook underneath it. But that just meant that I could trim it off, and then I can use that little sliver of notebook if I remember. And I'm thinking about it now, but I'm probably just going to toss it because I maybe wasn't thinking through that at the time. Yes, that's exactly what I did. I just threw it away. Anywho, you could save the other half of it and use it for another little thing like this where you've got, you know, it just kind of hanging off the edge of something. So at this point, things are glued down, and what I need to do now is actually do the listing, because a lot of times that comes last. So I'm just using these little empty spots, and like, for example, I'm using the little spot underneath that clock to say that one of my strengths is that I'm always on time. So see, there are relevant things in this layout. I love having labels that hang off the edges. They're always a great place to do a little tiny bit of journaling. Making some lines on this little clipboard and writing just a little bit more than, you know, I'm good at blank. Although that is, you know, essentially what I say. It's so hard. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of a struggle, kind of. I'm taking a little time in between. What I usually do with these lists is I usually take a composition notebook when I get the prompts and I start to make notes about the lists. And like, if I know that my strength is one of them, I just start the list. And then as I'm working through some of the other prompts, or I'm working on something else in my life, and I think, oh, this is a strength of mine, I'll go back to the notebook and I'll write it in. But I haven't done the Lister's Got a List in such a long time that I forgot that that was what I do, because I have a hard time thinking about things on the spot, especially a list of things, because my brain's going to forget an important thing that should be on the list, and then I get upset with myself. So just a little tip. I kind of pre-make my list so that when I'm ready to actually do the list, I have the list. Does that make sense? I said list a lot, but hey, Lister's Got a List. So I use some stamps to put in some more words that kind of describe me and what I'm good at. And then I'm just using some little puffy hearts and elements to just fill in the little spaces. This is one of the things I love most about doing these little grid layouts, is that I love to just get little teeny tiny things and fill them in. And of course I have to top it off with a TRG little hexie cluster, and I think that's where we wrap it up. Or of course I find another place for something. Oh yeah, the little floral, the little edge of the floral that I used on the top, I just used the other edge of it on the other side. Kind of pulls in a little bit of that yellow and wraps it all up. I have a few more that I will be working on, and I'll be sure to share those with you in an upcoming video. And I hope that you enjoyed watching, and we will talk really soon. Thanks so much, guys.